Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be slightly different. When I very first started this channel up, it was on the back of watching a few American reaction channels, taking a look at British comedy, British TV, British music, and watching how these guys and girls were enjoying the best of British, so to speak, really got me thinking about my channel and how I wanted to take it in the opposite direction, how I wanted to learn about all things America. So that's kind of how I started, and I wanted to take a look at your comedy, your TV, your music, your culture, and obviously that's what led me down the George Carlin path. But right at the very beginning, I did put together this playlist that's still being sat there to the side of all things America, such as your healthcare system, your political system, your food, your military, your federal agencies, all things America. I mean, here in Great Britain we have incredibly beautiful national parks. In America you have national parks that are about as big as our country, so I wanted to check those out. And like I said, I had this selection of videos down the side and I've just never managed to get to them. But I thought now's the time. There's a few people following along on the channel, and so I thought, what better way to start than a video which is called American Things Europeans Find Weird. I thought it'd be a great way to break the ice on this new playlist, because I mean, we do have a lot of commonalities between Americans and British. We here in the UK, our media portrays that relationship as a special relationship. Is how it's always portrayed. I'm not sure how the American media portrays that relationship. Please let me know in the comments. I'd be interested to find out. But here in the UK, it's deemed a special relationship, possibly due to us standing side by side through many world wars. We seem to stand shoulder to shoulder on a lot of social issues, domestic issues, international issues, humanitarian issues. We were always side by side. So I think that's probably formed this special relationship, this bond between us. But as much as we have similarities, we also seem to have differences. And it's those differences that I wanted to check out just as much as our similarities. So I thought now's the time to finally get into these videos, and like I say, I thought this would be a great way to break the ice on American things that Europeans find weird, and yeah, and see where it goes to, because why not? Why not? This is I want to learn about America a little bit more, and these videos I'm sure will teach me more things about America. Like I said, I've got a playlist, but if you guys know of any videos that I should be checking out on this subject, please comment below and I will check them out. And when it comes to the music side of things, I mean, when you think of, well, when we think over here of American music, one of the main things that comes to mind is American country music. From our point of view, there's nothing more American than country music, so it's a rabbit hole I'm interested in going down. So if you guys know of who to ease me in on when it comes to country music, please also write that down below. And I want to check out American country music as well. So please introduce me to where I need to start on that. So I've talked too much. Let's check out this video, because I'm sure it's going to be great and fun. So, and that's why we're here. So let's check this video out.
If you've ever seen Quentin Tarantino's hit movie Pulp Fiction, you'll know it opens with a scene in which Samuel Jackson shows his surprise regarding the legality of cannabis smoking in Holland and the fact that the French eat their fries with mayonnaise. Ugh is his reaction to the use of such a condiment. Well, we can tell you ugh works both ways, and there are plenty of things Americans eat, do, believe, and say that Europeans find plain weird. As we've discussed in other shows, not everyone in the world is so draconian about tipping. In fact, in some parts of Europe, throwing a buck on the counter after receiving a cold beer would be totally insulting. In many European countries, tipping in some situations can be seen as charity. When visiting the US, many Europeans might find it weird that a waiter or waitress keeps coming back to your table. In the States, it may be seen as just good service, but to some Europeans, it could be construed as someone getting in the way of a good meal. That meal, by the way, could be about 3 times larger than many people in Europe are used to. In general, American food portions look to some Europeans like they are supposed to feed 2 people. It may also seem like an act of largesse to some Europeans when someone keeps refilling their glass of soda or cup of coffee for no extra cost. In terms of the food itself, as we noted earlier, Americans and Europeans have very different ideas about what goes with what. Pancakes for breakfast with fried chicken? Are you kidding me? Says the traveling European. And what about putting honey on bacon for breakfast? The Frenchman wanted mustard with his sliced beef and tasted something not like mustard but a sweeter version with less bite. The Italian went to Chicago and in one restaurant ordered a pizza, only to be served what he thought looked more like a quiche or a cake. So, what about when Europeans head to the store? Again, the rather affable smile and general friendliness of staff may seem strange to someone from grumpy England, where service with a smile is certainly no guarantee. In fact, it's been remarked that American friendliness can result in some Europeans thinking something suspicious is afoot. If that European is in the store to buy a pack of cigarettes or a bottle of wine, they may be extremely surprised when they get asked for ID, as that might not have happened to them for over a decade or two. On top of Europe mainly having laxer laws on age restrictions, IDing people is not such a big deal as it is in America. Only in July this year, Oasis frontman Liam Gallagher said he was ID'd in the US after trying to buy cigarettes. He tweeted, "I've just been told I can't buy cigs unless I got ID. I'm 40 freaking 4, has the world gone mad?" Indeed, in his home city of Manchester, he'd probably been buying his smokes for 30 years without a problem. And then the European looks inside his or her wallet, only to see a bunch of notes that all look the same, all the time wondering how this could possibly make any sense. The good thing is, in America, you can pay with plastic just about anywhere, which is something many Europeans are still not used to. They may also be unpleasantly surprised to find out, when they do buy something, taxes get added on top of the price they saw. So they try and get back to their hotel, but have to ask the way. They are told to walk 6 blocks this way and turn left. Only for some Europeans not familiar with the US, giving someone directions using blocks may seem weird. Parts of Europe were not built with city blocks in mind and just gradually spread in a way that makes it hard to find your way around. When they finally do get back, they settle down to watch some TV, only for some reason the shows are interspersed with commercials that seem to be longer than the actual minutes given to the actual content. This drives some Europeans crazy. At some point, they might come across World Wrestling Entertainment and be quite confused at how some Americans can get so worked up about what to them looks like an act with an ending already scripted. You may have to be an American to enjoy that kind of drama with such passion. Turn over to the news, and depending on the channel, this may also look something like a drama or a soap opera to a European. They may easily believe they are watching a news satire. One of the great things in America, though, for some Europeans at least, is the fact that some things are open 24/7. Can't sleep? Just go out. Shopping hours are relatively quite restrictive in many European nations, but in most places in the US or near a big city, there is always something to do or buy in the middle of the night. In Europe, the BBC reported that London, England, and 6 cities in Spain were the better 24-hour cities. Now we'll visit the sensitive issues of religion and patriotism. World Atlas puts America at the top of the list as the most Christian nation in the world. In the US, on any given day, you might hear the word God or at least see signs pointing to where you might find him. While parts of Europe are also predominantly Christian, the omnipresence of God in the streets may seem a little overbearing to many of these nations that have forgone church duty. It's the same with flags everywhere. You won't go far in America without seeing the stars and stripes, whereas in Europe, flags are usually designated to the top of poles outside of official buildings. Seeing one planted in a garden may induce a traveling European to believe that he is at the house of a hardcore nationalist, not just someone who is proud of where he comes from. Interesting side note, a 2014 survey revealed the most patriotic country in the world was Thailand, closely followed by the USA. While it may not seem too weird for Europeans, the fact that some people in the States carry firearms might be scary. Per capita, more people in the States own guns than any other country. While most cops in Europe do carry guns, it's unusual to see a cop in England, Scotland, or Wales carrying a gun. The fact that regular Joes might be carrying a firearm seems fairly weird to many Europeans. It might not seem so strange to Serbians, who also have a high rate of guns owned per person. Size also matters to Europeans when traveling in the States. In America, everything just seems bigger, and not just the aforementioned dishes. The roads and streets seem larger for the most part, and if you don't have a car, it can seem hard to get anywhere, especially in a place like LA. The cars themselves seem a lot bigger, large enough to crush Mr. Bean in his Mini, and the people inside them also seem big on average, if not taller, then wider on average. The skyscrapers are taller, and in general, American houses statistically have a lot more space than the average European house. One survey stated that the Danish had the most living space in Europe, still much less than Americans, but much more than the Brits, that to Americans might seem their whole house is smaller than their basement. It may not be that weird, but one might ask why everything is so big in the US. As for appearance, some Europeans may find the amount of Americans that are continually decked in what looks like gym wear a bit strange, as most are not going to the gym. Other styles that are mostly an 80s thing but seem to have stayed around a little are the big hairstyles on some older American women. Big lips and big breasts may also be a fashion weird to some Europeans, while in the USA the president still seems to sport a fake tan. On the positive side, Americans all seem to have such perfect white teeth, quite different from those Brits. This was hilariously depicted in an episode of The Simpsons in which the Big Book of British Smiles horrifically demonstrated the apparent lack of dental hygiene in the country.
Okay guys, there we have it. That was American things that Europeans find weird. It was very fast and furious. I didn't feel like I had an opportunity to stop and talk about any of those elements before we'd already moved on to the next. So I'm just going to try and work my way through most of those now. Let's start with tips. I'll be honest. From where I am in the UK, Yorkshire, we are renowned as very stingy people. We don't give our money away willingly, and the idea of tipping the way that you have in America is very odd to me. I'm hoping that nobody takes any sort of offence to this, but for me, the idea of tipping somebody for possibly just picking up a plate from the kitchen, walking 10 metres and putting it on my table, the idea of tipping somebody a lot of money for doing that is kind of like it's foreign to me. It's for me, that's what they're paid to do. That's their job, and it's I kind of feel along the lines of my day job. For me is I help in the design of schools, hospitals, and a lot of other different types of buildings, and no one's ever tipped me for that because that's my job and that's what I do. So yeah, tipping over here is not a big deal. It doesn't. Nobody gets upset when you don't tip. So I do find that sort of tipping mentality in America very, very, very difficult to understand. Is it because actual salaries are lower and money has to be made up through tips? Is that the reason for it? Let me know. I don't know. So please let me know for that one. And like I said, please don't get upset by my opinion on it. I am just a stingy Brit who likes his money in his pockets. So yeah, then moving on to what was the next one that caught my attention? Commercials, or adverts as we call them here in America. On the odd occasion that I've managed to watch American TV, it is amazing how many commercials or adverts you have. It's mind-blowing. It's you do feel like you're watching more adverts than the actual show. And it's the fact that they're constantly advertised. It's even during sport, just randomly the commentators will just blurt out an advert, and no reason. There doesn't seem to be any reason for it other than just more money into the show through advertising. It is incredible. I mean, here in America we have, if a show say lasts an hour, we might have a break every 15 minutes. And that advert break or commercial break will probably only last about 1 or 2 minutes. And then we're back into the show again. Whereas you seem to have just constant advert after advert. And the other thing I find very weird as well from watching is you advertise a lot of pharmaceuticals and medicines on TV, and we don't have that over here. Well, I think other than maybe something for allergies, but you have it for everything, absolutely everything, and it's very weird to see from our point of view how many pharmaceutical adverts you have, and I always find a lot of the disclaimers very funny about all the ailments they may cause. Some of them are quite off-putting, but yeah, I find that one weird as well. Then it went on to the big one, obviously guns. Obviously, America has this big 50-50 split with guns, and people who are pro and people who are against. Here in America, we just don't have them. Well, you can get them, but we don't have them. Our police don't have them. They're not on the streets. Nobody walks around on the streets carrying a gun. It just doesn't happen. So it would be, I can imagine it would be very off-putting walking around in the streets in America, seeing people with sidearms. It's got to be weird from an outsider's point of view. And it's, we've always got this belief in the UK that you can almost just buy them in supermarkets. Now, I'm sure that's not the case. I'm sure there's a lot of paperwork involved, a lot of checks involved in purchasing a weapon. Please let me know if that's the case as well. But yeah, in America, in the UK, we've always had this belief that yes, you can pop down to Walmart and come out with a rifle. Now, like I say, I'm sure that's probably not the case, but that is one of the stereotypes that we have of America. The sports clothing. To be honest, that happens in the UK as well. There's an awful lot of people walking around in sports clothing who are going nowhere near a gym. It's just fashion, I think, for that one. The teeth. I'm not entirely sure where this originated from. If you know, please let me know in the comments. Did it really originate from somewhere, or is it just a stereotype that's developed for British people? The way that we kind of have, please don't get upset again, one of the stereotypes that we have for Americans is that you are all large individuals. Now, I'm very confident that's not the case. Is it just stereotypes that we have that have become ingrained in our culture? I'd be interested to find out. So, yeah, a lot of things there that we have in common, a lot of things that we don't. Like it said in the video, it's just things that we find weird about America. So, yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that. I did. I'll be aware next time that these videos are incredibly fast and furious, and I'll be prepared. So, like I said, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, subscribe, like, drop me a comment, and I'll answer you. So until next time, thanks for listening. Bye for now.